Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. I've been sharing with you the last 2 episodes about the riots between the Bisons and the white boys, the one that me and Bryson intervened on behalf of the homie Rodney Joseph. You know, when I left on the last episode, I'm in my cell coughing up blood. But before that, we were waiting for them to come through to do a body check. But you know, they never came to our cell. They only went to the Mexican cell and the white boy cell, because when that shit was happening on the compound, on the yard, it blew up in every unit. 2A in our unit, you know, Sereños and the Bisons jumped the white boys in there. 3B, 3A, every single unit but 2B. Now, you know, when we knew, they call these, you know, after every incident, the COs, the SIS will come and pull out the representative of each group and let them have a conversation and whatnot to see if the thing's gonna get squashed. Well, I'm not part of the group that got into it, so I'm not privy to what the conversation was. But when they came back, they said, hey, everything is squashed. We're coming out in a few days. So right on top of me, Brazil lives on top of me. You know, the homie, the white boy from Oregon. And through our vents, we can shoot a line to each other. Like, he can drop a line through his vent and he'll drop down to mine. I can get a hook it through, put my kite on it, or we can fish through the toilet. You know, fishing through the toilet, you just got your kite in a plastic bag with a string. You flush your toilet, they flush theirs. It goes down to the same pipe and wraps around each other. Then you can pull back whoever wants, you know, whoever's getting the kite can pull it in. So I knocked on I knocked on his floor. Boom, 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 boom. I said, hey man, shoot your line down. You know, because I don't want to be talking through the vent, because you can hear it, people can hear it. So he shoots his line down. I put my kite in there. And what my kite would say, what's up, man? In for a penny, in for a pound. You know, we're already involved. The Bison seen us involved. There's a few of them that got knocked out by Bryson. So, so we want to know what the strategy is. What's the game plan when his door's cracked? Because I'm not going to fear to walk around and get ambushed because they feel some type of way that we got involved, you know? So when we come out, you know, we're on point. I got my shoes on. Bryson got his shoes on. And we're ready. We're on our table. I'm sitting facing this way. Bryson's sitting this way. And we're just trying to gauge the body language of everybody in the unit. Because, you know, Brazil sent the kite back down saying that everything was squashed. For me, I don't understand how it could be. You know, they got everybody in every unit blew up. Excuse me. I got a little cold. It's been a hectic week. But all the white boys in every unit got fucked up. You know, there's one in the 6th building where the white boys was in there and they ran into the cell and they were trying to hold the cell closed while there's 15, 20 Mexicans trying to pry it open. And when they finally pried it open, ran in there and started stabbing everybody up. But they said they had this one white boy named Adam. He used to play quarterback for the homies football team. From every account, you know, from all the blacks that told the story that happened in his unit, like, he got off. He was punishing them. He was fighting 4 or 5 of them, butchering them, knocking them out. Like, he got off. And he did his thing. But the rest of the unit, it all blew up. Every white boy was fucked up. The only unit that didn't blow up was 2B. Now in 2B, they had this dude, I think he's Armenian, from California. He's done some state time in California, but he was on white boy time. Big old, like, this motherfucker don't got no neck. Big old motherfucker. He had the yards for the white boys. Every unit, the yard, the compound, every aspect of the penitentiary blew up but his unit. He lived in 2B. He's a spokesman for the white boys. Now, what had transpired, what caused all this was a white dude in 6A got locked up, went to his shoe, and the CO put his property in one of the TV rooms. And while the property was in one of the TV rooms, or the workout room, a couple bisons broke into the room and stole property out of there. And they were on the yard, on the flea market, you know, where you come in yard 3, there's a strip of sidewalk where everybody lays all their stuff out that they're trying to sell. Well, one of the white boys recognized that the stuff that these Mexican dudes were trying to sell, these bisons were trying to sell, was his homeboy's stuff. So, you know, he made an issue about, hey man, the bison stole the white boy, the homie's property. But there was a dude named, I forgot his name, but he lived in 6A. He went and told the guards that his homeboy's property got stolen. So there was two conflicting issues going on. One, the white boys pushing the line that, hey, these dudes stole the homie's property. Now the bison is countering that, hey, your homeboy went and told the cops that my homeboy stole the property. And it's been going on all week, the conversation about who's in the right, who's in the wrong, how this situation was going to get dealt with. Well, that morning before the riot jumped off, everything was escalating, and Garcia sent word into 2B to tell the white boys, to tell Chino he needs to come out here and speak with them before this shit gets out of hand. Well, I don't know who the fuck Chino think he was. He felt that it wasn't a pressing issue and told Garcia, or relayed the message, say, hey, I'll be out there after lunch to talk to you. Well, Garcia is the shot caller for the Bisons. So he took that as an offense. Like, you know, motherfuckers about to get killed over this shit and you're putting me off. Like you're too important to come out and have a conversation with me. So when that happened, that's when he said, man, ain't nothing to talk about. Blow it all up. You know, but when they made that decision, they sent word to all their homies in every single unit that it's going down. That they're going to hit all the white boys in the whole penitentiary. Chino, they call him Chino, didn't say shit to none of the white boys. No white boys on the compound knew that they were all about to get butchered. You know? So when we come out of lockdown, you know, Brazil tell me the story, you know, relay what's going on, what's happening. He tells me, hey, yeah, this is what happened, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, I ain't got nothing to say about whatever you guys got going on with the Paisa. If you guys squashed it, you guys squashed it. That's your paw. That's your guys' shit. But one thing I know, that dude Chino, he needs to get butchered. And he needs to get butchered today. Because, you know, when you first come out of lockdown, they put you in a unit for a day just to see if anything is going to blow up or if there's going to be any more confrontations or whatever. Then the next day, they'll give a group of you a few hours rec here, a few hours rec there. So the next day, we're about to go out for a rec, you know, for a couple hours. And I'm telling the white boys in my block, say, hey, man, this ain't even got nothing to do with me and Bryce. But, you know, one of the homies said he was riding with his cousin, which is white. So it really, he involved us, and we're not the type of person to walk away from it. But at the end of the day, this motherfucker, this coward motherfucker is supposed to be your shot caller. He let you guys all sit around, sit and duck. He let you guys get butchered. He's supposed to feel the responsibility for everybody. He's supposed to come out there and do what he's supposed to do to mediate the situation. At the very least, he's supposed to give all the white dudes heads up that, hey, it's about to go down, homie. Get yourself ready. Get your shit. Bitch motherfucker didn't do none of that. So I said, hey, man, you know, I got the homie Bryce. So really, At the end of the day, whatever issue I want to push, Bryson's going to get back my play. And with him at my side, he's invincible, so it's whatever. So I emphasize to the white boy, I say, hey, whatever you guys got going on with the prices, whatever. Because really, if you can squash the situation, squash it. But this dude right here, this dude Chino, that's supposed to be your shot caller, that's supposed to be looking out for your best interests, he needs to be held accountable for this. And they're all in agreement. They're like, yeah, we got to go out and talk to a few other people, this and that. So they let us go out on the yard, for a couple hours. And I go to my spot. While we were locked down, that bitch ass Matavosin, I told you, in the riot with the GDs, he came and chopped off the top of the table. Well, during the couple months that we were locked down, when we came out in yard 3, man, he pulled everything out of the ground. The benches, the seats. There was nothing in yard 3 no more but the goalposts and the basketball court and the volleyball poles. But all the seats, all the benches that you can sit to watch people play volleyball or watch people play soccer, he pulled everything out of the ground and left that yard bare. So we come out and we're congregating by where my table used to be, which is just a slab of cement now, by the bocce court. And all the homies came out, at this time, I could have addressed the situation, the issue a little better than I did at that particular time. Because while I'm sitting in my cell, coughing up blood, coughing up black shit for weeks, I was in my feelings. Because I come to find out, like all the other homies that was out there, didn't bust a grape. I'm not going to put names or nothing out there, because at the end of the day, when I was upset, Bryson said something that resonated with me. He said, bro, they're good homies. And at the end of the day, it's our job, yours and mine, to protect them. And we did our job. But still, that doesn't alleviate my frustration and my anger towards them. Because, like I said, if Bryson wasn't out there doing what he was doing, eventually I would have got overwhelmed by the numbers and been a body. So while we're in the cell, Bryson relayed to me of what happened with him. So when he came out, when he came up the track and asked me, hey, bro, what are we doing? I told him, man, Roddy said he's riding with his cousin. I was, all right, bro. That's all he said. And he picked up a couple of natives and a couple of homies and marched off down the track. He said when he was walking down the track, he wanted to get behind the wave of bicycles that was coming towards me. When he walked down the track, the bicycles were coming and they were walking past him. But he was keeping an eye on me, taking my lead. I don't know that he was watching me. Like I said, at the moment in time, the only thought that was in my head was stay away from the shiny tips, because they're sparkling, But he said he was watching me. He got behind the line and he see me bouncing on the ball of my feet. And then I launched. When I launched, he already had his target picked out. And he just ran through him, just started hitting him. Everybody he hit, he was knocking him out. I got a friend, his name is TJ, out of Texas, that was lived in our unit. From our unit, you can look out the window and see the yard. He was telling us he thought Bryson was grabbing them bicycles and throwing them. But then he found out later, Bryson was just whacking them. And all the homies was just, once we got settled down and was sharing the story, the homies was there that was out there, that was just watching, was saying, yeah, Bryson hit this dude so hard, fucking flew up, landed on his head, boom. Another Bryson ran up on him, crushed that dude started tumbling, boom, 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 boom. But there was a few, with Bryson, everybody in the compound knows who he is. You know, he's like 6'3", at this time about 360. He's a force of nature. But he's one of the most kindest, humblest people that you're ever going to meet. So in a lot of those spices were his friends. But at the time of war, when the line is drawn, you're running your corners. You get ready. But there was a few spices that ran up on him, that stabbed him, that were his friends. And Bryson didn't hit him. He just pushed him away. He was telling me, like, a couple of, I don't forget the name, but he told me so-and-so ran up on him because that's my friend. That's my Bison friend. So he just pushed him away. But the ones that he didn't have any rapport with, he was crushing them. And there's bodies laid out. He's leaving a trail of bodies, and after the first 5 or 6 that got knocked out, the rest of them got wise, and they're like, man, fuck that. So they went over there, and they said they were dragging their unconscious homies across the bocce court trying to get them away from Bryson. Like they were literally in a war zone, and these dudes were dragging bodies, away, all the unconscious one. But the ones that got hit, they didn't want to get anywhere close to Bryson. But he got swarmed. Like I said, he got stabbed like 9, 10 times. And that's when they ran from him, went and grabbed the sodas. The sodas was intended for him because they didn't want to get close enough for him to reach him. So they wanted to be at a distance and started throwing sodas at him. That's when I came out of the scuffle and seen, them dudes throwing sodas at Bryson. But like I said, I didn't know what had happened down the track. I was in a situation myself, fighting for my life. But, when I looked up, when I came out of the scuffle and I looked up, I see all the homies lined up behind Bryson. And there was nobody around me. I was like, what the fuck? I was in my feelings, you know what I mean? Because like, damn, man, I'm the one that needs the help, I'm the little guy on the field over here. But, so when they let us out, I voiced that to the homies. I was kind of aggressive with the way I came at them because I was like, man, like we could have got killed, but their rebuttal was like, man, it ain't got nothing to do with us. They're not wrong in that, they're not wrong with that statement or that opinion, but one of the homies said he's going to get involved. If one of the homies get involved, we're all involved. That's just me. That's just the way I think. But like I said, we all don't think alike. There's a lot of people that profess that they're going to ride and die, all for one for all, no matter what, right or wrong, this and that. But at the end of the day, there's not too many people that live up to that creed. And I was disappointed. And I'm not the type of person to, when I feel strongly about a situation, not voice it. But like I said, at the end of the day, me and Bryson made that decision to jump in and aid and assist. And we did our job. We did what we were supposed to do. Nothing extra, nothing more. We have the mentality, I'm going to ride with you. You're my homie. Regardless if I like you or not, I'm going to ride. We're going to die together. And that's what we did. So, but while I was over there talking to the homie, Chino comes over there with his entourage. He got like a couple flunkies that walk around with him. Now, I call them flunky because they all lived in 2B and nothing popped off in 2B. It popped off in every unit on the compound but 2B. So while I'm in a conversation with my homeboys, Chino comes over there. Hey, excuse me, Mesa. Hey, man, I just want to thank you for helping out my brothers. He stuck his hand out to shake my hand. And I just looked at him. I said, man, I ain't got nothing for you, man. Get the fuck away from me. Because this dude is supposed to get killed. You just let your homies get slaughtered. You didn't even give them no heads up. You just thought you was just above the politics. and you let your fucking people get slaughtered. Like I said, I'm not a person that holds in my thoughts when I feel strongly about something. So when he stuck his hand out to fucking shake my hand, say, man, I didn't do nothing for you or your homies. Get the fuck away from me. And he just looked at me and spun off, you know. But everybody knows action, reaction. If something happens, this is the expected outcome. So before the white boys got a chance to hit Chino, the SIS came and picked him up and locked him up to protect him from the white boys. So he's in the shoe. But let's fast forward it to the time when I left Atwater and going to the Smooth. When I was in Oklahoma in the holding cage, I ran into one of the white boys that was that was coming back from the Smooth, going back to court on a case. And he's like, yeah, man. And he's like, yeah, I was at Atwater. And he's like, he recognized my name. He didn't recognize my face. He was only on the compound for a few months, but he recognized the name. He said, hey, man, I appreciate you, man, for helping out my brothers and stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm the one that got Chino. So I guess what happened when the SIS came and tried to protect Chino and locked him up, a couple white boys was able to get back there that just came on the compound, get back into the shoe, pretending they didn't know the situation, and got Chino in the cage and stabbed his bitch ass up. Listen, I never even knew that there was a FCI or a camp in Maryland. This motherfucker, Chino, is in a USP Atwater, got transferred to a low in Maryland somewhere to be protected because any yard, if he ever hit a USP again, the white boys will kill him. He can never walk no other USP. But I guess he came all the way up though. You know, he won. He didn't get fucked off in the riot, and now he's at a fucking low, being protected. You know. But anyways, you know, when we was in the riot, I told you all them people that got that was on the ground, all the white boys, all the white dudes I fucked with, like there was like 4 or 5 of them that was just flat on the ground with a pool of blood surrounding them. And they got picked up and put on a stretcher and rushed out to the outside hospital. You know, a month right after that riot, I ended up in a situation that I'll share with you later, and ended up going to the shoe. So I went into the shoe. On one of the days I went out to rec, I ran into my friend, Chili. You know, he got stabbed 27 times. The old man, he's 60-something years old. Got stabbed 27 times and got his jaw broke in like 4 or 5 different places. Because when he's on the ground, they were just booting his face. You know, he picked up his shirt and he showed me all the puncture wounds. I mean, there wasn't a space on his body that had an inch of space without a puncture wound. I don't know how you survived getting stabbed 27 times, but I'm grateful that he survived it. Nobody died in the riot. It was crazy. And the one dude that not caused the incident, but the one dudes that the Mexicans were accusing of going to the guards and telling on him about stealing the property, he got stabbed 37 times. They took him outside to the emergency hospital. They opened him up to stop all the wounds. They opened him up to fix all the wounds and tie his tubes or whatever that he was bleeding from all the stabbing. But when they opened him up, they found he had cancer in his body. So while they had his chest open, trying to save his life from getting stabbed, they went and scraped out all the cancer too. So in that situation, it's crazy because he could have died from getting stabbed, but from him almost getting killed, ended up going to the hospital, and they found he had cancer, and got saved because his homies and some of the guards were saying he didn't even know he had cancer. Another month, he would have been dead. The cancer would have spread to one of his vital organs, and it would have been a wrap. But they caught it in the nick of time, all because he got stabbed up like 37 times. You know? But like I said, through the grace to whoever, whatever angels that were overseeing these individuals, all the ones that got stabbed up multiple times, they all survived. None of them died. You know, I share with you these things, man. I emphasize it's not to glorify the violence or the chaos that happens in there. Yeah, it's entertaining, of course, because you're like, wow, how can that shit really happen? Does that really shit really happen? Like it's the movie. Like I mentioned in the prior episode, it's like Braveheart. There's no shield. There's no guns. There's no protection. It's literally hand-to-hand combat. Whether you in a cell tangling with another dude, or where you getting jumped in the kitchen, wherever it is, hand-to-hand combat. It's not shooting anybody from a distance. And they're playing with blunt objects, blades that can gut you, slice your throat, puncture your heart. It's brutal, man. And this is the environment that I've been in for the last 2+ decades. You know, sharing, you know, I don't really relive these things through my mind until I tell you the stories when I'm here. And, you know, even now, I'm realizing that, yeah, I was in a fucked up environment. It's chaos. And that's why I always tell you that we're literally behind enemy lines. Because you never know who's going to have your back. And you can't really trust that anybody's going to have your back. So if you live in that life, maybe these episodes will open up your eyes. This is what you got to look forward to. Welcome to the USP.